She was just cooking in the mess hall when the alarms went off. The air was thick with the smell of eggs, bacon, and brewed coffee. Chief Petty Officer Lena Torres flipped an omelet with the kind of precision that came from years of field discipline, not culinary training. The kitchen wasn't her usual post. She was a SEAL combat medic, but after a grueling 12-hour patrol, she'd volunteered to cook breakfast for her exhausted team. They called her Doc, but this morning, she was just another tired soul trying to make the barracks feel human again. "Hey Doc, save me an extra plate," Lieutenant Mason shouted from the hallway, his boots clanking against the metal floor. "You get it yourself," Lena called back, smirking. She wiped her hands on her apron, her hair tied up in a bun that refused to stay neat. Then it happened. The base sirens screamed, a piercing wail that froze every muscle in her body. Within seconds, the chatter of the morning died, replaced by the heavy, unmistakable echo of gunfire outside the mess hall. Lena dropped the spatula. Her instincts kicked in like a reflex. "Base is under attack," someone shouted through the intercom, but the static drowned the rest. Lena bolted for the door, her heart pounding. She peered through the window slit. Vehicles with no friendly markings were flooding the base perimeter. Armed men in desert fatigues stormed through the gates, moving fast and coordinated. Her team, SEAL Team 9, was out there. She grabbed the emergency weapons locker near the kitchen exit, but when she yanked it open, it was nearly empty. One M9 pistol, half a magazine. No rifle. No comms. "Come on," she hissed under her breath. She loaded the pistol and moved low, hugging the walls. Smoke began to fill the corridor. She could hear boots, shouts in another language, and the crack of rifles echoing down the hallway. The mess hall felt suddenly claustrophobic, a death trap. Lena slipped into a side storage room, breathing shallowly. Her hands trembled only for a moment before she steadied them. She wasn't just a medic. She'd been through BUD-S, through Blackwater Ops, through everything that broke lesser soldiers. She was a SEAL, and SEALs didn't freeze. She crawled through a maintenance vent toward the main compound. Every movement echoed, every sound magnified by her pulse. When she emerged, the hallway was wrecked, shattered lights, bullet holes, blood. She found Lieutenant Mason's radio headset lying near a body. She crouched and pressed the comms button. "This is Chief Torres. Does anyone copy?" "Only static." She swallowed hard and crept toward the holding barracks. That's when she heard them, muffled voices. She peeked around the corner and saw 3 hostiles dragging her teammates, hands zip-tied, faces bloodied. Mason, Harris, and Nguyen, her brothers in arms, captured, forced to their knees. Rage surged through her veins like lightning. She took cover behind a flipped table. The pistol was all she had, but she'd learned long ago, precision beats firepower. She waited for her chance. The first guard turned his back. She exhaled slowly, aimed, and fired, one clean shot to the base of the skull. The man dropped before the others could react. "Contact!" shouted one of the captors, raising his rifle. Lena rolled to the left, fired twice more. One bullet shattered a knee, the other caught the gunman in the throat. The third dove for cover, returning fire. Bullets tore through the air, splintering the wall near her face. She ducked behind a metal crate, counting her rounds. 2 left. "Doc." Mason's voice rasped, disbelieving. "Stay down," she whispered, peeking from cover. The last hostile crept closer, scanning, his rifle raised. Lena grabbed a nearby fire extinguisher, yanked the pin, and sprayed. Blindly, filling the corridor with white haze. She moved fast, silent as a ghost, and struck him from behind, slamming his head into the wall until he went limp. She cut the team loose with a shard of glass. "Hell, Doc," Harris coughed. "You cooked breakfast and saved the day." Lena smirked, though her heart was still pounding. "Don't get used to it." "Where's command?" Mason asked, wiping blood from his temple. "Radio's dead. I think they took control of the operations room," she replied. "We need to move." The team scavenged what they could, rifles from the fallen, extra mags, grenades. They slipped through the smoke-choked hallways like shadows. Outside, the sun was rising over the desert base, turning the sand crimson. The attackers had secured several vehicles and were corralling the remaining personnel. There must have been at least 20 of them. "Doc, we're outnumbered," Mason muttered. "Then we make them think we're not," she said, her voice cold and certain. She led the team through the rear maintenance tunnels to flank the courtyard. They rigged a line of gas tanks along the walls, wiring them to a single detonator Mason had salvaged. "On your mark," Mason said. Lena nodded. They waited, watched as the enemy regrouped in the open. She pressed the detonator. The explosion tore through the base like a thunderclap. The shockwaves sent debris flying, smoke billowing high. Chaos erupted as shouts and gunfire followed. Lena and her team moved through the confusion, picking targets with ruthless precision. One by one, the hostiles fell. Mason secured a mounted rifle from a truck while Harris covered their flank. Lena rushed to the comms center, fighting her way through the rubble to reach the main transmitter. Her fingers flew across the controls. "This is SEAL Team 9. Base compromised. Request immediate extraction. Coordinates locked. Copy that, SEAL 9. Reinforcements en route. Hold position," came the crackled reply. She exhaled, finally allowing herself a moment to breathe. The team regrouped near the runway. The air was thick with smoke and adrenaline. Helicopters roared in the distance. "You saved all of us, Doc," Mason said quietly, his eyes filled with respect. Lena shook her head. "No, we saved each other. Like always." But the truth was heavier than her words. If she hadn't been in that mess hall, if she hadn't decided to cook breakfast instead of sleeping, her team might have never made it out alive. As the extraction choppers touched down, she looked back at the wrecked base, the place where she'd gone from cook to combatant in the blink of an eye. The scent of smoke mixed with the faint trace of burnt bacon still clinging to her sleeves. Mason grinned as they boarded. "Remind me never to underestimate your cooking again." Lena smirked, eyes scanning the horizon. "Next time, I'm sticking to pancakes." But deep down, she knew, if her team ever needed her again, she'd drop the spatula in a heartbeat. Because that's what SEALs do. They fight back. And sometimes, even the quietest moments, a meal, a laugh, a promise of rest, become the spark that lights the fire of survival. As the helicopter lifted off, Lena looked down at the burning compound below, her reflection flickering in the glass. She wasn't just the team's medic, not anymore. She was proof that strength isn't always forged on the battlefield, it's born in the moments before it, when you decide who you are and what you'll do when everything falls apart. And she had chosen. She had fought back. She was just cooking in the mess hall, until her SEAL team was captured. But when the smoke cleared, everyone knew, Chief Petty Officer Lena Torres wasn't just anything. She was a SEAL. And she'd earned that title all over again.